Hello everyone, welcome to JMCA tries Smolov for a picking, or I don't know, whatever concise title I can come up with. Anyways, so this is the series where I'm trying Smolov Junior, the 3 week version, as I prep for my meet, which is the first week, well, I guess the second weekend, or anyway, it's on March 6th. Yeah, I'm basically just prepping for it right now. Using Smolov to pick. It's just a squat and deadlift, so I don't have to worry about my upper body, which is great because I'm starting to get a little bit of wrist pain. That allows me to give my wrist just time to rest a little bit, and then I will see what I can do to work around it and strengthen the area once I'm done with the pick. But for now, I just think that if I give it some rest, it should be fine. So, well, as you guys know, week 1 is basically a 6x6, week 2 on the squats, week 2 is a 7x5, week 3 is an 8x4, week 4 is a 10x3. And then, every week you're supposed to add Smolov Junior says 5 kilos, the traditional Smolov says 10 kilos. So I think I'm gonna go probably just by feel. After this week I'm probably going 7.5 kilos because, to be perfectly honest, it didn't feel super heavy, and I'm alternating high bar and low bar for the simple reason that it allows me to sort of make the stimulus enough to where it doesn't overtrain my lower back, so I can train it enough to get a stimulus, but not enough to the point where it doesn't allow me to recover in time for the next sessions. And because every session is really hard, I kind of have to pay attention to my recovery. So to improve my recovery, I decided to mix in low bar and high bar. It should work just fine though. Okay, so on day 1, I did that, then I did some weighted pull-ups, then I did some speed deadlifts. I'm running some speed waves. I'm planning to do something like 70, 75 and 80%. So it's kind of like a strength speed, the RP is low, but it, technically speaking, is still there, just 5 sets of 1 to more or less allow me to practice my setup and stuff and not get too rusty with that, but not so much that it starts being a hassle in my recovery, basically. On top of that, well, no, that was basically about it. That's all I did that day. On day 2, I did some... Actually, no, that was another thing I did that day. Also, I did some trucks. I mean, you guys can see a footage, so whatever. On day 2, which was the 7x5, I did the 7x5. I followed it with some chest supported rows, again trying to not overuse the lower back. And then I did some penalty rows, but I had to stop because I started to get wrist pain, and yeah, it was weird. I couldn't exert enough force on the bar because of the weird position. It doesn't bother me in regular deadlifts, but because I tend to have more like a bench press in terms of width for grip for my penalty rows, it did bother me there a little bit, so I had to just stop. Yeah, again, I'm gonna have to find a way to work about it. It doesn't hurt right now, it just hurts on certain movements, so we're gonna have to see how I deal with that. I've gotten some tips. I'm gonna try them. I'm gonna see if I can find a way to restore my wrist. Then day 3 was an 8x4. It didn't feel heavy. Everything moved relatively well, but as fast as you can do 8 sets of 4 reps with 80% of. Felt relatively fast with low bar. I felt like it was a little bit grindier with high bar, but I was still able to pull through, and I do think that I had more in the tank for everything. I don't think anything was particularly super duper grindy. The entire thing, the 10x3, the 10x3, which was the longest set, it took me an hour. It was a good thing there was no one else on the gym training legs on that day, but yeah, it took me a long time. And then after that, again, just some hanging knee raises and some high rep back extensions. It just feels good on my back, so why not? Yeah. Now, judging by the way that things move, I think I'm good to go for 7.5 kilograms on all of the percentages for next week. So if you're not familiar with Smolov, you're supposed to add anywhere from 5 to 10 kilos for week 2, and then for week 3 you add around 5 kilos more. Like, it depends. The Smolov Junior calls for like 5 kilograms extra per week. The original Smolov calls for 10 kilos in the first week and 5 kilos in the second week. I think I'm gonna split it on this second week because it felt relatively light. So I think I'm gonna try with 7.5 kilos and see how I do. And yeah. Oh, and as far as how many sets I'm doing with high bar and how many sets I'm doing with low bar, I have tried to keep low bar to like a small amount. So usually there's like anywhere from 1 to 3 sets of that day's total sets I'm gonna be with low bar. And then after that I'm just gonna switch to high bar. But you know, we're gonna see. Like, if I can do a little bit more, especially on the 10x3s next week, I'm probably gonna try to do 5x3 on low bar and 5x3 on high bar or something along those lines, just to increase the specificity. I just need to make sure that I'm paying attention to like my recovery and everything, because you know, like at the end of the day, this program is so intense that if you don't pay attention to these factors, you can absolutely mess it up. Anyway, yeah, that was about it for this video. I'm just gonna leave you guys with the rest of the footage.